This is the run-through Warhammer edition. Hey guys, this is Mike here from Next Opportunity Events. Welcome to the run-through. This is our new web series of reaction videos where I'm going to be taking you through on the trail footage of some of our most popular races. We're going to be playing promo videos that I've shot from the trail, and I'm going to walk you through it, give you some of my thoughts about the trail, about the race, and so you can see firsthand what the trail is going to look like, and I'm going to talk about it. So today, first off, we're talking about the Warhammer 150 miler and 50K. Now, what I'm reacting to today is actually a video that I posted back last spring in May before the 2021 race. This particular segment of the race is on the southern section of the route, which is for 100 milers only. If you're interested in the Warhammer 50 miler or the 50K, don't worry. I've got more videos coming very soon that are going to cover the northern section of the route. But today we're talking about that southern section of the route. This is going to be between the Spillway and Bark Camp aid station. The Spillway is about mile 7 for the 100 milers, and Bark Camp is about mile 13. So this is about 5 miles of trail that I'm going to cover today and react to with you. The video is about 20 minutes long. I'm going to skip a lot of it because some parts I slow down and it's a little meandering. So we're going to get through it quickly, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on mile 7-ish to 13-ish of the Warhammer 100. Here we go. Okay guys, here we go. Spillway to Bark Camp on the Warhammer 100 course. I'm going to skip through the little bit of me talking as I'm walking across the Spillway here. We're going to jump right into this thing. This is just the first little bit once you get onto the trail after the Spillway. So the Spillway is a big dam along the Laurel River Lake, and so we run across it on the Warhammer 100, and then we hop up onto the trail. This is a beautiful little section here where we go by a really cool creek. There's a wooden bridge up here. Super dry when I was doing this. This was back in last May, about mid-May. Really pretty because you're still up pretty high in terms of elevation at this point because you are up on the Spillway, and so we're kind of running along the ridge here. There's a little bit of a climb here, as you can see, as this speeds up. We're right along the ridge, and this is just beautiful, like mile after mile. Oh, this is where, if you've seen this video, you... Yes. That was a legit fall. That was not staged for the video. Excuse me. I have a potty mouth out on the trail. So we'll speed back up, but you can see what this trail looks like. Again, this is mid-May, so it looks a lot like this on race day, as long as we don't get any rain. It is the wet season during the Warhammer 100 in mid-June, but this is probably at least 2.5, maybe 3 miles of just straight up pretty flat single track, just like you see here. It's pretty great. Speed through this a little bit because once we get through here after a few miles, we're still doing this. It's rolling along. It's a beautiful section of the forest, honestly. I mean, it's beautiful. The day that I was doing this, you can see it was sunny, beautiful, green, lush, nobody around. Once you leave the Spillway, pretty soon you can't hear any traffic from the road. So this is just a great little section of the trail. Really easy to run, really runnable. It starts to drop down here soon. I'm going to kind of try to jump ahead here as this does. You can see how it's overgrown. As I always tell people, I'm not the race director that's going to come through and clear all this out for you. I like to just run through the woods the way that the good Lord intended it. So this is where we're dropping down off of the ridge. This section's beautiful. I love it. The video doesn't quite do it justice, but there's a lot of, as you can see, these cool rock formations that you're running down underneath. You're kind of under these rocks. This is a sweet overhang right here. And it gets pretty murky in terms of the terrain. You saw like a big black mud puddle right there that I just had to jump over. So that was kind of gross. But this is a great descent into the gorge. Not the gorge, excuse me. But just down into the valley here, as you're going to cross the creek and get down close to the river. It's a nice little descent. You can really take your time. Of course, being an out and back course, you do have to climb back up this. And right here, I remember this being super slick. This was, 4 or 5 weeks before the race, and I had to really, really work hard here not to fall on my ass and slip. But at the bottom of this, let me see if I can get down here. Once we get down here to the bottom of this climb, remember, you do have to come back up this because it's an out and back route. 100 milers only, don't forget. If you're interested in the 50 miler or the 50K, don't worry. I'm actually heading down to the trail here in another week or two to do some videos down there. This is a great creek crossing. Now, when I was doing this, it wasn't wet at all, but it's just great having to climb over, or getting to climb over all these rocks. It was a lot of fun. Here I did it from another angle just so you could see what it's like trying to get through it. It's a lot of fun. Just a beautiful, beautiful forest. So green. It was a perfect day when I was doing this. Hopefully we get another perfect day at the race this year. We shall see. Let's go forward a little bit. Here we go. Speed up a little bit. You can kind of look at the terrain right here. This is where it starts to get a little hectic, you know, as far as the terrain. It's pretty technical. I'm moving really fast right now. I'm not moving really fast, but the video is moving fast. We do start to get more and more rocks as you go through this section. Pretty much between after you cross that creek that we just looked at. That's a few miles past the Spillway early in the 100 miler. Once you get past that, it does start to get pretty technical. You can just sort of see these rocks. Real easy to catch your toe on these rocks and just end up with your face in the mud, as you saw, like I did. But look over there on the right, that's the river. So you're running right alongside the river for a few miles here, and it's just, it's absolutely beautiful. Let's speed it up. This is a great section right here as you come out of the forest. You got these big ass cliffs over here on the left, and it just sort of opens up into this kind of meadow. This real grassy area. The river's over there on the right on the other side of this boulder. And it's just beautiful. After running through the dense forest, and then it just sort of opens up like this, and you see the sky and the river over there. Oh man, it's beautiful. Even in bad weather, this would be great. So we're gonna scoot ahead here. You don't need to hear me yapping while I'm running along the road. Mile 10.5 or so. Got a little bit of running on the road here, and then we dip back out into the woods. So let's get down there.
Kentucky. I'm in heaven.
I ran my mouth a lot during this video. Here we go. Now you're going to start to see a little bit more of the technicality in the trail. In terms of elevation, we're still pretty low. We're right along the side of the river. We've kind of come up from the river a little bit. There's a creek right here that we go over. Real tricky part of the trail right here because we actually hang a left right here. And this is me describing it, but this is where we leave the Sheltowee Trace and we head up on the flood route. Shut up, Mike. And there is a trail right here, but it feels very, very off trail, as you can see. It's overgrown. What this is a flood route because the Sheltowee Trace can flood. So what some of the caretakers of the trail and Daniel Boone National Forest, Sheltowee Trace Association, what they've done is they've created this sort of reroute, if you will, and it comes up the ridge very steeply, and as you can see, it meanders all over the place. It's kind of hard to follow when it's not marked like this, but you can follow it. I mean, it is a trail, it's just not really maintained. It's not the official trail. There it is. I'll try to speed it up and climb on up here. Great little rock overhang I'll show you right here. People stacking rocks. You can tell some people built some fires under here. I don't think that's a good thing to do in these overhangs, but it's a tough climb. Really tough climb. I think this climb is 200 to 250 feet. Not much at all. In terms of elevation gain, you're not gaining a ton, but just look at this, man. You're just, I mean, you're walking, you're definitely not running this. It's just so steep. They really just made this thing like, okay, how can we get people up onto the ridge as quickly as possible when it does flood? So we're gonna keep on climbing up this thing. This is really tough to follow. If you saw our Been There Done That video, I will link it down in the description of this video where I interviewed Beth Shell from the Warhammer 100 this past year. She kind of talked about on the way back. So I'm running southbound, outbound on this part. This was a big ass tree that was down, you gotta go around it. But I'm running outbound, so I'm at about mile, let's say 11, 12 right here. But then you turn around and you're coming back and it's mile 30 whatever, probably actually like 40 or so. It's going to be late at night for most people. The sun is set, and she was talking about just how misty and foggy it was. So even though there were trail markings with reflectors and everything on it, she said it was really hard to see just because it being so humid at this time in Kentucky in middle of June. She said it was just super foggy, and you had to run so slow through here because you just couldn't see very far in front of you because of how foggy it was. Finally up on the ridge now. A lot of leaves still on the ground even in mid-May. I'll jump ahead here. As I'm still walking, trying to get up onto the ridge. Yapping again. Here we go. So now we're up on the ridge. Finally, no more climbing. It's pretty flat through here. Tons of spider webs. So if you think you're a fast runner and you want to be the first one through the first half of the race, you're gonna have a face full of spider webs, trust me. Best to pace yourself behind someone who is wider and taller than you. Pro tip from me. So this is it. This is the end of this section. As you get up to the top of the flood route, this is what the trail looks like. You're just running along the ridge. This will eventually meet up with the gravel road that leads to Bart Camp Aid Station, which is your first major aid station of the race at about mile 13. There are going to be some good smiling faces there. You can see this is still pretty technical. Again, it's a flood route. It's not really maintained, not well kept. But let's jump ahead here a little bit. Turns into, you know, quite a bit of green up around your ankles. Beware of ticks and whatnot, because those are definitely going to be a problem. And then we hit the gravel, and we're at the end of this section. You got about another half mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile of gravel road once you get up here to this junction, and then that'll lead to Bart Camp Aid Station. So that's the run through for this week. All right, guys, thank you for watching this run-through of the Warhammer 100 from the Spillway to Bart Camp. We've got some more coming here really soon. I've got several videos that I'm still putting together for the Brakes Ultra. I'm going to be releasing those in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for the Brakes Ultra. I'm also heading down, like I said in this video, I'm heading down to the Warhammer course, going to do some shooting on the 50-mile, 50K route, so those will be out probably in early to mid-March, so keep an eye out for those. Join our Discord server, get on Discord, look for next opportunity events, subscribe to this channel. We got a lot of new videos coming out soon. See ya.